Okay, well, hey everyone, how you doing today? I'm glad you've decided to join us here. Looking forward to today's topic and spending some time together with you. I want to welcome those of you on Zoom. Glad you're with us again. Good morning to each and every one of you. And of course, those of you that are on YouTube, really excited about you guys joining us here as well, and look forward to spending some time with you. Listen, if you like this video, why don't you go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe button. We certainly would like to have you subscribe to our channel, keep you aware of everything that we're doing here. And every time we put out a video, bam, you'll get the ding. And we certainly want you to be reminded that we have something new out there for you to help you discover your true potential in life. Let's get into this today. Now, we've been talking about control. Last week we talked about the controlling spirit in operation and people that are controlling being the master, those that are being controlled being the puppet, and talking about breaking free from the puppet master. Today we're going to continue that, and we're going to talk about how to break free from controlling people. So probably want to go ahead and get yourself a piece of paper and a pen, jot down some notes. Also, let's share this video with other people, get more people involved, because this thing about control, it's pretty serious, because a lot of people that I talk to, I find out that many people are being controlled. I've been controlled. More than likely, you've been controlled at some point in your life. It's not a good feeling to be controlled. We feel horrible certainly when we know that we're controlled, but even if we don't know it, we know that something's not right. We feel as though we're not ourselves. We're trying to be someone else. So again, let's talk today. Let's specifically focus in on how to break free from controlling people. Well, I would say this as you and I are having some dialogue here. Is the first thing you need to do is you need to acknowledge that you're being controlled. You have to actually understand that, yes, you are being controlled. What does that mean? Well, you need to know what control is. What is control? What are the signs of control? We talked a little bit about that last week, and I would recommend that you go to our video in our or on our YouTube page. You can find that video and many other videos, but learn what control is. You know, control, things like control, manipulation, intimidation, and domination, these are all works of the flesh, is what the Bible says. It talks about witchcraft in the book of Galatians. Well, modern day witchcraft is exactly that. It's control, manipulation, intimidation, domination. It's psychological mind games. It's gaslighting. It is manipulating people to get them to do something that they want them to do, but you yourself don't necessarily want to do. Okay? It's also that feeling, that sense that you should be doing something. Okay? And when we talk about control and acknowledging that you're being controlled, I want you to understand this is not not one person or any of us should ever be under the control of someone else, ever. I'll say that again. You should never, ever be under the control of someone else. Okay? I think a lot of times people don't acknowledge that they're being controlled because they've been controlled so long. Perhaps that's you. Perhaps you've been controlled so long in your life that you've simply become accustomed to it. You become used to it. You've essentially normalized it. You know, control, when somebody is controlling us, that is dysfunction. If you're in a controlling relationship, you are in a dysfunctional relationship. But when we've become so accustomed to it, when we perhaps grew up with it, we saw, you know, during those critical developmental years, 0 to 10, if we saw mom and dad, and we saw that maybe mom was controlling dad or dad was controlling mom, or they were just controlling parents and they were controlling other people, and you saw the manipulation, the drama, you saw all those things. You grew up in a controlling environment. That is going to have a major effect on your life. So if mom and dad did it, maybe they did it to you growing up. They controlled you. You know, we're not to control our children. You know, we hear that, control your child. Well, no, we're to teach, we're to educate, we're to train, we're to correct, we're to validate, we're to affirm, and we're to love our children, okay? Not control them, all right? If you properly train, if you properly teach, if you validate, you support, if you correct where necessary, and you create healthy boundaries even with your children growing up, and teach them how to establish boundaries themselves, then you're not going to have a child that is, that needs to be controlled. They're going to exercise what we call self-control. We're going to control ourselves, okay? But so if you didn't grow up in an environment like that, again, there's either a propensity for you to control, or you're going to find yourself being controlled by other people, because again, you normalize that dysfunction, because control is dysfunctional, okay? So I think that's the first thing when you talk about breaking free from the controlling person, is that you need to acknowledge that you're being controlled. Don't be naive about it. Understand, yes, I am being controlled. I've talked to people. I've heard other people talk to people and bring up this topic of, hey, you're being controlled. Your husband's controlling, your wife's controlling you, your child is controlling you, whatever it may be. They don't really understand it. They think, well, I don't think I'm being controlled, and maybe they feel that they simply have an obligation. Okay, but again, you need to acknowledge that you're being controlled. The other thing is find out, seek after, to answer this question, why you have tolerated control and why you have tolerated controlling people so long. Why have you done this? What's going on here? Okay. Perhaps it's you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. Maybe you're the type of person you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You have a hard time saying no. Is that you? Am I talking to you today? Do you have a hard time saying no? Can you say no to your spouse? Can you say no to your now aged parents? Can you say no to your now grown children? Can you say no to yourself? A lot of times people, they are afraid to say no because they feel that they have evaluation problems, what they actually have with themselves. So they don't feel worthy to say the word no to somebody else. And they're very concerned that they're going to hurt someone else's feelings. And if they do say, or they try to say no, they're afraid. There's this internal phobia, fear. They're afraid of that person manifesting, that person triggering anger, perhaps that person retaliating, okay? Because you're not giving them what they want. Well, what do they want? They want control. They want control of the relationship. They want control of your life. They want control of all decisions, even your decisions. That's what they do. They want control of that. So again, you need to discover why it is you've tolerated this thing. We find out in the book of Revelation about this spirit known as Jezebel, this controlling witchcraft spirit, this perverse spirit. And the church in Thyatira in the first century is rebuked for allowing, enabling, or tolerating that to be an operation. Well, what is that? Well, that which was operation was control. Control. So you have to go down the path of discovering why you've tolerated this so long in your life. Are you afraid of retaliation? Are you afraid the person's going to get angry with you? They're not going to like you anymore. Okay. You're going to make them feel unhappy. Maybe you're fearful that you're going to lose the relationship. I find that a lot. I find that constantly one of the issues, or one of the reasons why someone has tolerated, they've accepted they've basically enabled the control. It's because they're fearful that, well, if I say something, then I'm not going to have that relationship. Well, look at it this way. Why would you want to have a relationship with a controlling person? I mean, if somebody's controlling, that's a toxic behavior. Do you really want to be controlled by somebody? Okay. Do you really think that if somebody's controlling you, that is not a relationship. I always say this, to have a healthy relationship, it has to be win-win. If one wins and another one loses, whether it's a marriage, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a family member, business associate, it doesn't matter what it is. If one wins and the other one loses, that's not a relationship. Relationships, healthy relationships, are always win-win. So again, why have you been tolerating this so long? Are you fearful that this relationship is going to be severed? Well, perhaps you need to consider that maybe this relationship needs to be severed. Maybe this relationship should have never occurred in the first place. So again, find out why you're tolerating. Do you feel guilty? Many times we tolerate things. Why? Because we feel guilty. We feel guilty of something that we did, something we've done in the past, perhaps our behavior or something that has occurred in life, some event, maybe a divorce, maybe, a decision, whatever it may have been. But you feel guilty that it's something that you did, and now you need to pay the price. And by you having that view of yourself that you need to pay the price, what then ends up happening is, okay, well, I'll enable this person to control me, and I'll just tolerate it. Okay. Another reason we tolerate things is because we feel obligated, right? We feel obligated to people. We feel obligated to the controller. This person, okay, who you're connected to, you're in a relationship with, or you even genuinely love, you feel obligated to them. Now, this could be a lot of different things, you guys. Okay, this could be, you could feel obligated, for example, to your parents. Let's look in terms of you're grown, obviously, and now you have aged parents, they're in their upper 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever it may be. But you feel tremendously obligated to them in so much that your parents, control you. Okay, there's a lot of controlling parents out there. Well, the Bible doesn't say that we're obligated to parents. It doesn't say that we need to do everything they say. Okay. What it does say is that we need to honor our parents. Honor parents. That word honor is speaking more of value. In other words, place a tremendous value on your parents. So again, you can value somebody, and you should value other people, just like you should value yourself. But that doesn't mean that you're obligated to do everything that they say. I know a lot, believe me, I know a lot of adults, okay, who I talk to that are in tremendous bondage, tremendous enslavement to controlling parents. Many of these parents are well into their 70s and 80s, but yet still controlling that person who's now a grown adult themselves, perhaps even in their 40s or 50s, but yet they still feel that they're under the control, that pressure of their now aged parents. So again, we tolerate things because we don't understand things. And what we don't understand, we typically begin to create some way of just accepting it. And again, we may find ourselves being for feeling that we're obligated to parents to essentially submit to their control. Same thing with spouses. Okay, husbands or wives, it doesn't matter, a husband to a wife to a husband. We tolerate, or they tolerate control because they feel that they need to submit to that control. Yes, in a marriage, we're supposed to submit, right? The Bible's very clear. Submit one to another in that marriage. But submitting doesn't mean that you control me, nor I control you. We should never be controlled, even in the context of being married. My wife doesn't control me, and I don't control my wife. And if I try to control her, she checks me in. If she tries to control me, I check her in. And we let each other know, you know what, that's controlling. You're controlling me. You're trying to control me, or I feel like you're trying to control me. Whatever it may be, We need to deal with it, not tolerate it. Okay. And then lastly, you could feel obligated as a now aged parent, perhaps in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and your grown children who are now in their 40s and 50s, they control you. Now, this is something that I see quite often. I talk to people that we coach people where they're saying that, you know what, my 30-year-old, my 40-year-old is controlling me. And they explain what's happening and all that stuff. Well, why? Why are you tolerating the control of your now grown child? They're 30, they're 40, but yet they're controlling you. What's going on with you? Why are you enabling that? Why are you tolerating that? So again, you want to break free from controlling people. Okay, you're going to have to discover why you've tolerated control and controlling people so long. What is the reason for that? Okay. Okay, I see a couple things popping up here today, and okay, didn't understand that one. How do you honor or value parents who treat you wrong? If they aren't doing the word of God, how do you honor that? Well, you don't honor that, you honor them. That is different from them. Okay. So I honor by the sheer fact that these are my parents. Okay. They brought me into this world. The word of God is very clear that we're to honor our parents. So I'm going to value the fact that they are my parents. But if they have toxic behaviors and they're controlling, like we're discussing today, I'm not going to honor the fact that they're controlling. I'm not going to value the fact that they're controlling. I value them as people, as human beings, as my parents. I certainly value them as that, but I don't value that, the control or whatever the toxic behavior. Doesn't necessarily matter what that is. Okay. Another thing that we need to do, or you need to do to break free from controlling people, is stay in your lane. This is something we're always saying, stay in your lane to people. Okay. Work on you, focus in on you. The reason that people can control you is because you're not focused on you. You're focused on them. So stay in your lane, focus on you, work on you. Remember, control is not taken. Control is given. You can't control me unless I relinquish or give you control. You can't just take control over my life. Yes, you can manipulate, you can twist things, you can come a lot of different ways and deceive me or get me to, allow you to take control from me. But at the end of the day, I'm giving you control. You haven't taken it from me. Okay. This is why we don't need to be ignorant of the devil's devices. Control is a device of the devil. Okay, he looks to control. That's what he does. So again, stay in your lane. Remember, control is given. Control is not taken. Yes, absolutely, without question. Insidious tactics of things like manipulation, intimidation, gaslighting, for example, will be used. But if you're healthy emotionally, if you're healthy mentally, if you've been working on you, if you're healthy spiritually, you won't put up with this crap. You just won't put up with it. Now you may be thinking, well, are you saying that I'm unhealthy? Well, perhaps you are in some area. That's not a knock against you. It's not a judgment towards you. We need to understand. We need to search ourselves out. We need to understand ourselves and find out perhaps we have some toxic behaviors or improper or perverse mindsets as it pertains to life in general. So again, work on yourself, stay in your lane, become healthy emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and I guarantee you will come to a place in your life where you just simply don't put up with this garbage. You're not going to take it any longer. Listen, you're not a punching bag. Listen to me very clearly. You are not a punching bag, nor should you be a punching bag for the devil. And the devil, by the way, big revelation here, the devil operates through people. See, I'm not concerned about the devil or demons or Satan or Jezebel or whatever that's out there somewhere floating around in the environment. I'm not worried about these demons in the wasteland or in dry places. I don't care about that. Okay, I'm not concerned about all that stuff. What I am concerned about is when someone is bound by the enemy, or the enemy has deceived them, and they've taken on a spirit or a delusion where they think there's something that they're not. That's when things can actually affect you. Because I don't know about you, but I don't have relationships with demons. I have relationships with people. I'll say it again. I don't have a relationship, nor should you have a relationship with demons. So I don't focus in on them. I don't focus in on, going on this witch hunt or this demon hunt of understanding and knowing where all the demons are. I don't care where they are, but it's when someone is bound by them, when someone is enabling them, when someone is in agreement with their tactics, their characteristics, their ideologies, their ways of operating, then I take notice, because I'm going to be communicating and in a relationship perhaps with that person, and I have to be on guard for that. So I need to understand that I need to be healthy. I need to be whole. I need to be fulfilled. I need to deal with me, because if I deal with me, I'm not going to be concerned about what somebody else is doing. I'm going to be protected because I think healthy of me. Okay. Another way or another thing as it pertains to breaking free from controlling people is take your life back. Listen, I have this thing about the D words, okay? Words that begin with D. Decisions, determination, destiny, okay? Desire, those type of things. And one of the main things is decision. Life is about decisions, guys. It's about you making a decision in your life. So here's the thing. Take back your life, break free from controllers, and make the decision: no more. No more am I going to be controlled. No more am I going to be the puppet to the master. No more am I going to be enslaved to my past, or no more am I going to be enslaved to the past of other people, whatever they've been through. Listen, people have been through trauma. They've been through a lot of different things. They've gone through abuse. I'm not going to be enslaved to your abuse, and I'm not going to be enslaved to my abuse either. If somebody has abused me, if somebody's wounded me, if somebody's hurt me, if somebody's violated me, if somebody's whatever they've done to me, I'm not going to be enslaved to that. I'm going to learn. It's like my wife's been talking about this, and one of the things that has come up is that she's talked about in the past a lot is forgiveness. You need to learn to forgive quickly. If you focus in on being bitter, angry, upset with yourself and others, whatever it may be, and focused in on that, okay, you're not going to find yourself free. You're going to find yourself in bondage, because you're always going to be reminding yourself of some violation that happened to you. Let that go. Let it go. Okay. Break free from that. You need to emancipate yourself from the past behaviors, past decisions. You need to emancipate yourself from past relationships, past things that happened to you, even in your childhood. I know mom did this. I know dad did that. But emancipate yourself from that. Stop allowing yourself to be enslaved to the puppet master. That's how control comes into your life. You want to break free from control? Emancipate yourself. Break free. And when I say break free, listen, stop waiting for others to change. Stop waiting for your husband to change. Well, I'm just praying that he's going to stop controlling. Stop focusing on him. Stop focusing in on your wife. Well, I'm just praying, I'm fasting, I'm declaring, I'm decreeing, I'm doing this, that, the other, because I'm just for them to stop controlling. Stop waiting for them to change. You change. Work on you. Are you with me? Work on you. Get yourself healthy, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and so on. Okay? Renew your mind. Gosh, have we been talking about that at this ministry? Of course. That is one of the foundational truths that support our vision of this ministry, is that every individual needs to renew their mind. If you don't start working on you, then you're just going to focus in on all the peripheral things and everything out there somewhere. Okay? Don't be so concerned about that. Focus in on you. Stop waiting for others to change. Do you. Discover the real you. That's your journey, discovering the true you, not the abused you, not the traumatized you, not the emotionally wounded you, not the controlled you, not the codependent you that's the narcissist has beat you up. Stop focusing on that. That's what the enemy wants you to become. Break free from that, emancipate yourself, renew your mind, begin to think healthy about yourself, begin to start the process, start the journey of building yourself up, your self-esteem. You know, a controller cannot control people who are confident, they have a healthy self-esteem, they think not more highly of themselves, but they do think highly of themselves. Okay? They're not inferior. They don't have a sense of inferiority to other people. They're not fearful people. Work on yourself. Build yourself up. If you find yourself in a place of fear, work on that. Okay? Focus in on faith, walking by faith, not by sight. Faith is the opposite of fear. Okay? And listen, enjoy your freedom to make decisions. And may I say this? Make decisions, okay? Again, we're talking about breaking free from controlling people. Enjoy the fact that you can and you should make decisions for yourself. And listen, big revelation for you. You don't need someone else's permission to make a decision. Oh, that's right, I said it. You don't need permission of somebody else to make a decision. You make your decision. Remember, you're responsible for you. You're not responsible for me, and I'm not responsible for you. That's a big revelation. Boy, we could probably stop right there. You're not responsible for other people, unless they're going to a young child, and obviously, you know, you're raising up your young child. But even when your child grows up, you're not responsible for them anymore. Now, we are responsible to each other. Okay, in society, in the kingdom of God, we're responsible to each other. In a marriage, I'm responsible to my wife. Okay, listen, let me share something with you. I don't just, you know, I've never been this type of person. I don't just at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night or whatever time during the day, just walk out. I just walk out and do what I want to do and say, I'm just going to go. I don't know. No. Now, can I do that if I wanted to? Sure. I'm not. Nobody's controlling me, but I'm responsible to people. I'm responsible to my family. I'm responsible to my wife. So I'm going to simply say, "Oh, I'm getting ready to take a walk," or it's 11 o'clock at night. Maybe you can't sleep, or 1 in the morning. It doesn't matter. I'm getting ready to take a ride or walk around the block, or whatever it is that you do. Again, responsible to somebody, but not responsible for them. Okay? Listen, listen to me. You're not a child anymore. That's right. You're not a child anymore. So you're not under this control. Okay? Stop it. Come out from the control, break free from controlling people, and understand this. In order to emancipate yourself, you need to know you're not a child anymore. Paul said, when I was a child, I spake like a child, I acted like a child. But when I became an adult, when I became mature, when I grew up, I stopped it. I put away all these childish things. You know, there's something called arrested development. And arrested development is, another word for it is fixation of the brain. It's when we're young and we've experienced some event, perhaps some trauma, mostly trauma, in our life. And at that place of trauma, that could be rejection from your original family members. It could be molestation. It could be physical abuse. It could be emotional abuse, sexual abuse, whatever it may be. That traumatized you. And if you don't get through that emotionally, again, trauma is one thing, but to not have healthy parents, to not have a healthy family, where you can get through the trauma. Worse yet, they cause the trauma or they introduce that trauma into your life, then we can become arrested emotionally at that stage. So this is why you have, let me give you a good example. If you've ever seen grown adults, perhaps yourself, have a temper tantrum, okay? Just completely lost it, blew a gasket, acted like a child, threw things, had a hissy fit. Men, punch, because they didn't get their way, punching holes in drywall, women throwing things, just completely acting like a child that didn't get their piece of candy or didn't get the balloon at the checkout counter or didn't get their way. Just like you've seen in supermarkets, grocery stores, a child just falling out on the ground. Well, that's what many adults do when they're older. They're arrested in their development emotionally, so they don't know how to handle situations. So this is why in a lot of marriages, when there's conflict, one or both will blow a gasket and just lose it, and again go down the proverbial rabbit hole of more dysfunction, because they're like a child. They don't know how to handle emotional type of issues. They can't handle their own emotions. They don't understand the emotions of other people. Many men are disconnected emotionally. They freak out, freak out when their spouse starts crying. They just say, well, forget this, I'm out of here, I'm leaving, whatever. Again, that's arrested development. And where does that come from? Again, it comes from a place of dysfunction and abuse when we're young, but it has a part to play in perhaps a person enabling or allowing themselves to be controlled by other people. So again, you're free. You need to know that. You need to be consciously aware that you are free. Be consciously aware so you can tell your subconscious, I am free. I'm not a child anymore. Okay? So again, talking about how to break free from controlling people. Let me see here. Say the Bible that I can divorce when he is freaked out and narcissist. Okay. I don't really understand the question, but that's okay. We'll come back to that. Here's another thing you need to do to break free from controlling people: is stop the negative thinking. Stop negative thinking. I'm talking to you. Stop thinking negatively. Stay positive. Focus on the positive. I am so done with people that think negative about everything. Okay? I'm done with myself thinking negative about stuff. Stay positive. Okay? Oh, it's so bad. I'm being controlled. Stop the self-pity. Stop crying. Stop weeping. Stop the self-pity. Okay? Stop saying, why is this happening to me? Rather than you're asking a question, why is this happening to me? Well, you know what? Find out why. Go find out why, instead of staying at the place of pity me, poor me, woe is me, why is this happening to me? Find out why, and then free yourself. You're responsible for you. You're not responsible for the controller controlling you. Value yourself. Affirm yourself. Okay? That's what you need to do in order to break free from the controlling person. Stop thinking negatively about yourself. The controlling person is banking on the fact that you think negatively about you, that you're no good, that you're not valued, you're unworthy, you're not good enough, you'll never be able to do it. Stop it. And please, here's another thing: stop focusing on the controller. Say that again, because that's very, very powerful. Stop focusing on the controller. See, the controller banks on the fact that you'll think about them more than you're going to think about you, right? I mean, if you're being controlled, you know what I'm talking about is right. You're always thinking about them. What are they doing? What are they thinking? What do they want? How can I please them? That's what a controller banks on. They banked on that fact that you're going to think about them. You're going to think about their time more than your time. That's why your time is stolen. You're going to think about their kids Yeah, this could be your son or your daughter, and they're grown now and they have kids. You're going to be thinking about are their kids okay? Are they taking care of their kids okay? You're going to take on all that care. You're going to be thinking about their money. Do they have enough money? Because they're going to let you know these problems, okay? And they're going to dump. It's like, the old proverbial put the monkey on your back. They're going to cast that burden. They're going to cast that load on you. Their money, their issues, their drama. You're always going to be thinking about their drama. It's going to occupy your mind. It's going to occupy your thoughts. It's going to occupy your time. You're going to be thinking what you need to do for them, what you need to do. When you're at the grocery store, you'll buy stuff for other people because the controller is going to have you buy it just through mind games, mind manipulation. You'll start trying to get things for other people when you know you need something for yourself, but yet you'll buy it for the controller. You'll do it for the controller. You'll put yourself in financial burden. You'll put yourself through anguish. You'll put yourself through depression. You'll put yourself through exhaustion because you're focusing in on the controller. At the end of the day, you want to please that controller because you don't know how to please yourself. You don't know how to deal with yourself. You're bound to the controller. And they're always going to make certain that you understand their time, their issues, their responsibilities, their drama. And listen, you want to break free from controlling people? Why are you around these people? Ask yourself that question. Why are you around these people? Why would you be around toxic people? I'm not saying you don't love these people. You do. But why are you around them? How could two walk together unless they're in agreement? Are you in agreement with control? Come out from among them, be separated. What does that really mean? Well, it means that, listen, I'm not going to be around people that are controlling or want to dump their drama, their guilt, their blame, their shame. They want to dump everything on me. Deal with you. Do you. Stay away from me. I have to deal with me. I'm responsible for me. When I stand before God, when you stand before God, God isn't going to say, well, now, Robert, what about Bill? What about Bill? Did you do everything Bill? Did Bill have enough money? God isn't going to bring this stuff up. He's going to talk to me about me. Do you? And allow other people to do them. Allow them to take on their own responsibility, which leads me to my next point about how to break free from the controller. Stop being the fixer. That's right. You need to stop being the fixer. Manage your own or mind your own business. Mind your own business. Stop trying or stop getting involved in other people's mess. Stop getting involved in other people's problems, issues, drama, dysfunction, whatever it may be. Listen, can I just be honest with you guys? You can't fix somebody's dysfunction. Dysfunction is not fixable. You got that? Dysfunction is not fixable. You don't take something that's dysfunctional and try to fix it, because what are you fixing it to? You need to eradicate dysfunction and bring that which is functional into the relationship or into your own life, that person. Okay? So mind your own business. You have enough. Listen, I always tell people this. Dealing with me is a full-time job. I have to deal with me. Okay? That requires my time, my energy, my money, everything. I need to work on me. Because if I work on me, can you imagine if I work on me and you work on you? Can you imagine how that relationship would be? It would be a good relationship, right? Same thing with a husband and wife. If I work on me, if Robert works on Robert and Dixie works on Dixie in our marriage relationship, that's going to be a pretty healthy relationship. But if I'm so focused on her or she's focused in on me, what I'm doing and how I need to do this and how I need to do that, and I'm doing the same thing with her, we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to have a lot of frustration. That's what we're going to end up having. Perhaps a lot of arguments, sadness, not joy, drama, not peace. So again, focus in on you. Take responsibility for you. Stop the false responsibility for other people. In the book of Galatians, chapter number 6, rather, it talks about let every man take another person's burden, but let each man take his own load. Now, a lot of times people, especially controllers, will manipulate, twist and wrangle scripture and say, well, you need to take on my burden. The Bible says you're to take on my burden. And of course, because people don't know the word properly, they listen to that and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I do need to do that for them. I need to run their errands. I need to pay their bills. I need to give them gas money. I need to watch their children. I need to do this. I need to. That's what the Bible's talking about. A burden is something that happens to somebody like if I'm sitting here in a home and a storm comes through and a tornado hits the area and lights are out or power's out and we can't cook, or we don't have the basic necessities, or perhaps the house was blown over and stuff like that. That's a tragedy, and we should come to the aid of other people. They didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for a tornado to come in and destroy things to where now I'm suffering. So yes, we have a responsibility. That's a burden. I didn't ask for that. But a load are things that I'm carrying. Okay, I have on my back responsibilities. So for example, if I make a bad decision and I overspend and now I don't have enough money for something, that's not your responsibility. You can't take that, but a controller is going to put that responsibility on you. If I have 8 kids and I'm promiscuous and I have 8 kids and 8 kids maybe out of wedlock, I have baby mamas everywhere. It's not your responsibility to take care of those kids. That's my load. I did that. That's not. I asked for that. So, but a controller is going to dump that on you. So again, be careful. Okay. The other thing is, let me state this. In a marriage, wives, you're not your husband's mommy. Don't mommy your husband. Okay. You're not your husband's mommy. And husbands, you're not your mommy's daddy. So stop daddying your wife. Be a husband to your wife, be a wife to your husband. Learn what that is. Because if you think you need to mommy him, then he can be open and you're susceptible to being controlled. You got that? All right. Okay. Where are we at here? Okay. All right. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay. I had a comment, and it might be a little late, but I had my hand raised, and it was when you were saying about taking care of each other,
Mhm.
dealing with yourself, going and working on yourself. And I remember when we first got married that I did a lot of trying to work on you, and I remember praying about it, and the Lord would never answer me when I would come to bring some situation or something I thought you needed to fix it, or needed to change. He would never answer me. And he would start to talk to me about me. And I finally got a clue that he wasn't going to deal with me about you. He was going to deal with me about me. So if you are out there trying to work on someone else, if you take that to the Lord, he'll get you straight because he will deal with you. It lets you know God's not a gossiper. He's not a controller, and he is not going to permit you to try to control people through your prayers. So I just want to share that with someone who may be thinking, well, I need to get my husband right. And I'm not saying that your husband or wife doesn't need something they need, to have, some changes in their life. We all do. But it is not our responsibility to try to control and be the Holy Spirit for our spouse. It is our responsibility to yield to the Holy Spirit about us and do the work on us. So what I what I realized when I saw the Lord wasn't going to deal with me about what I mean about you, he was going to answer my questions and all the stuff I was bringing to him that I thought I saw. So he wasn't going to deal with me. I realized that I probably should be speaking over you what his word said, and that's that. And I got a confirmation in my heart that that was the right way to deal with it. So if I was going to do anything, instead of saying to God what I saw, then I was going to walk by faith and speak what the word said about you. And that's what I began to do. So I changed that, let me fix everything, to let me speak the word and agree with the word and what the word says about you. I think that's critical for relationships, because I see so many relationships where they are constantly bickering over what they see instead of speaking faith filled words over their spouse. So I know this is a little off of the, but I think it is a kind of correlates with control, because you're trying to control them, even though it's something that you feel is godly that they need to do. It's still control. And if the Lord doesn't control us to do godly things, then why do we think that it's okay for us as a spouse or as a parent to try to control our children? And we
Right.
do that. And we say, well, I'm just trying to teach them, no, you're not trying to teach them. You're really trying to control, because teaching is instruction, control is manipulation.
Right. That's good. Thank you. Okay, Stephanie, I see you have your hand up. You go ahead. You have a question? Or okay, Stephanie, you there?
Yes. Hello, Shalom from Austria.
Hello, Austria. How are you?
uh, um, no, the teaching is really strong, so I see I'm a sinner. I need Jesus more in my life. So yeah, it's okay. So my question is, I'm a mom for 2 children. I married a Brazilian husband. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he is the controller. But now I see me too. Yeah, so
Okay.
I will take focus on me. But the question is, what the Bible say about divorce. I have really bad experiences with him. Yeah, about drugs, about go out, don't come home, and freak out later when he's freaking out and say, "Oh, I need you," and I change my life, blah blah blah. And God says, "Stay here," but I don't know. Is this God that say, "Stay here," or my
Mm-hmm.
co cooperation, or however they call that in English?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what the Bible say? What for time I can divorce?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your question. So yeah, I mean the Bible's pretty clear about divorce, that God's he doesn't like divorce. But God actually divorced Israel because they committed spiritual adultery against him through their rebellion against his word. Um, so we know that we can divorce when there's a sexual impropriety, there's an adulterous situation. But again, God has not called us to wrath as well. And a lot of times I just believe that people have gotten married for all the wrong reasons. And they're living lives that are miserable because they married a controller, they married an abuser, they married a narcissist, they married somebody that's bound by Jezebel or whatever. And if that, we're responsible for our decisions, even to marry a person like that. And maybe you got married, they were okay when you got married, and then the real them, as it were, came out a few days later. Next thing you know, they're a pervert, or they're addicted to something, whatever. Well, here's the thing: what we need to do. First off, God has called us to reconciliation. We have the ministry of reconciliation. So should we try to reconcile? Should we try to restore? Absolutely, without question. I don't think that we should just say, oh, this is going on, let me divorce. Okay, or say, oh, there it is, let me divorce. No, I think even with adultery, I think that we need to go down the path of reconciliation. What does that mean? Well, it's going to take the will of two people. So if you will restoration, and so does he, but perhaps he's bound, he has issues, he just doesn't know what's going on, what's wrong with him. That's understood, and you should go out and seek help in that area and look to have that marriage restored. But if that person is not pleased to dwell with you, he's not pleased to be married to you, and this person doesn't want to seek after God and learn about life and learn about proper behaviors and understand how his behaviors hurts other people or is toxic towards other people, whatever. If the person doesn't want to do that, then there's really nothing at some point, at least, you can do. And where that point is, I can't say, but I know this, I will say this, is God has not called us to live lives of misery. God has not called us to live lives of torment. Now, I'm not saying, nor can I even give permission, I'm not in that place to give permission to people to divorce. But I can say this, if somebody is toxic, abusive, manipulative, controlling, and does not want to change, they're in pride, they're stuck in their ways, and they're wounding people, whether it's their spouse or family members, then I do understand the path of potentially getting divorced. I wouldn't start there. Maybe I'd start with separation. I would certainly start with boundaries, which leads me to my next thing I want to talk about as far as breaking free from controlling people, is start with boundaries. I mean, how many of you have boundaries? If you don't have boundaries, then you're basically saying in a relationship, I have no limits. So a controller, controlling person, a toxic person, they're not going to stop because you have no boundaries. So one of the main ways of breaking free from a controlling person or controlling people is set and communicate boundaries. I always tell people in marriages, did you set boundaries before you got married? What did you do before you got married? Were you just infatuated with this person? Were you just attracted to some weird thing about them? Why did you get married? You know what the number one answer is when I ask people, why did you get married? Number one answer is, I don't know. Okay, that's the number one answer. So did you set boundaries? Well, when we're talking about, in the context of today's conversation, controlling people, set and communicate boundaries and create or develop consequences to those boundaries. See, I'm not going to let people anymore control my time, control my energy. Okay? I have a right now to turn the ringer off my phone, either at a specific time or on demand. I can do whatever I want. I have my phone set up where at a certain time, my phone shuts off. You're not getting to me. My phone's not even going to ring unless perhaps you're in my favorites. There's certain, my wife can call me 24/7, 365. She can know and find out exactly where I'm at. I have no problem with that. But other people, no, I'm not going to let people just control my life. Okay? I make a decision. I have boundaries. I don't have to return emails just because somebody emailed me. That's a boundary. Okay? Boundaries protect me. Okay? I can change my mind. I'm free to change my mind. If I make a decision, I can change my mind. I can cancel. Watch this now. We're talking about boundaries because if you don't have boundaries, the controller is going to control you. You're setting yourself up for failure in this area. You will be controlled. So don't think you can't change your mind. I can change my mind. I can cancel. I'm free to cancel a commitment when I'm maybe not feeling well. Perhaps I'm tired. Have you ever made a commitment to somebody and you're exhausted, you're fatigued? You mean just your mind is just tired. You just need a break. But yet because you said you do something, you don't want to call a person and cancel that commitment because you feel all this weight, this burden on you. No, call that person, cancel it. And yes, when the controller starts trying to manipulate you or throw guilt on you, let it go. Don't get out from the control. Create a boundary. Let them know you're not going. Listen, this is my life. I make a decision for my life. I can do that. I'm responsible for me. Okay? because things happen. You may, like I said, you could get sick. You could maybe be tired. Okay. Set boundaries. One of the things about a controller criticizes. Make a boundary, a boundary, create a healthy boundary that says, you know, I'm not going to tolerate people criticizing me or criticizing my decisions. Oh my God. Will a controller criticize your decisions? Absolutely. Because a controller wants you to get their permission before making a decision. If you make a decision, they're going to criticize your decision. They're going to use sarcasm. Have a boundary. I'm not going to accept sarcastic comments about certain things from people. That's a boundary. Okay? I'm not going to, controlling people will use your property. They'll take your car. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. They'll take your car. They'll run out all your gas. Where's your boundary? Your boundary should be, if you take my car without my permission, you never get my car again. If you do it again, I'm going to call the police and say you stole my car without my, or you took my car without my permission, which is called theft. Okay? Where's your boundary? Their temper tantrums, their anger. Where's your boundary that says, I'm not going to tolerate this. You're not going to vent on me. I'm not going to be your punching bag. You're not going to release your toxic emotional venom against me, your words against me. Where's your boundary? You must set boundaries. Okay? All the belittling words, where's your boundary? You're not going to belittle me. You're not going to humiliate me. Okay? Let me give you some examples. Let me give you some examples of how to communicate a boundary, because I think this is an area that a lot of people struggle with. How do I communicate a boundary? Well, again, we're talking about how to break free from controlling people. Let me give you some examples. An example of communicating a boundary would be, I will not permit myself to be yelled at. If you continue, I will leave. That is a boundary. Notice what I did not say. I did not say, you're going to stop yelling at me. I can't stop somebody from yelling at me. I can't stop somebody from cussing me out. I can't stop somebody from calling me an evil name. But what I can say in my boundary is, I will not permit myself to be yelled at. And if you, the controller who's yelling at me, continue, I will leave. Okay? If I have a commitment, and again, we're talking about the controlling person, I can have a boundary that says something like, you know, you are important to me, but I can't help you due to other obligations. So if the controller comes and says, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z for me, you can say something, you're important to me, I value you, but I can't help you because I have other obligations. I have other commitments. You have a right to do that. And that, my friend, would be a type of boundary. Okay? Controllers will try to control you as far as financial matters and money. Okay? They may say, hey, I need you to loan me $10,000 or $1,000 or $500 or whatever. You can simply have a boundary that says, I'm sorry, I have a policy where I do not loan out money. Okay? My wife will tell you what I say. Okay? Or you can say something, I'm sorry, I don't have funds available for this purpose. You have a right to say that. Not only do you have a right, but you have a responsibility. Okay? Controllers will always look for you to make a decision based on what they want, and they pressure you to make that decision right then and there. Okay? And you can simply have a boundary that says, as far as communicating that boundary, you could say, I don't feel that I'm ready to make a decision right now. That's it. You've communicated a boundary. I don't feel comfortable making a decision on that right now. Okay? Or here's a good one. This is my decision. However, if my decision changes, I'll be sure to let you know. These are ways that you're able to communicate effectively as it pertains to boundaries. This is going to help you in getting free, pardon me, from the controller. You can use these things. You know, have you ever had a sales solicitor come to your door? Knock on your door? I have. And I've opened the door and they talk, and I don't want to buy anything. I'm tired of my time actually being taken. But sales solicitors are notoriously controlling. They have actually studied the art of manipulating other people. So when a solicitor comes to the door, controlling, trying to control you to get you to do something that you don't want to do, like buy some windows or buy a chocolate bar, you don't even want chocolate. Well, you can say something. This is what I say. I say this: I don't take solicitations from the door. And you can use the same thing if somebody calls you at the house. I don't take solicitations. However, you can send everything through the mail. So, in other words, just mail it to me and I'll take a look at it. These are boundaries, people. You're letting folks know that you can't control me. Okay? Can't control my time. Okay? You can say, look, I value my time. And if you ever have somebody late on you, tell them this: I value my time. If you're not here by 5 o'clock, I'm leaving without you, or I'm not going. That's your decision. Okay. Relationships, dating. Here's a good one. Dating. Okay. I've shared this with people in a dating relationship. Set a boundary that says this. Let the person know: I do not date people who control the relationship on their terms. I will not be controlled in a relationship. Let that be known. Whatever it is, boundaries need to be established, because boundaries are going to help you break free from controlling people. So there's a lot of things that we need to do. I just gave you a few, but these are things that we need to deal with. Deal with ourselves, value ourselves, renew our mind, okay? Become healthy ourselves. Make decisions. Embrace the fact that we can and should make decisions. Stop taking the load of other people on your back. Understand that you're responsible to people, but not for people. Know that you can and should create healthy boundaries. All these things are going to help you break free from the controlling person. They're not going to have any way to plug into you, as it were. It's just not going to work. Okay? So again, I believe that this should help you. I pray that today something was said to you that has helped you. And I'm going to take a look and see if we have any more questions. But again, I want to thank you guys for joining us here today. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. Okay, somebody said next time I should call the police. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, questions are asked and I don't have all of the information. So I really don't like necessarily, saying something when I don't have all the information. I would suggest that you set up a coaching appointment with us. Just go to our website, set up an appointment. You'll be tremendously blessed by it. And this way we can really understand your situation to give you the help that you need. Let me take a look over here on YouTube. And yes, God's sheep. Yes, you are free to change your mind. You are responsible for you. Good job. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Yep. You're very welcome. And thank you for joining, by the way. Yeah. A person said, I thought my wife needed help. And this is where my, kind of probably in response to what my wife said. My wife, Dixie, what she brought up which was really good. This person says, I thought my wife needed help when it was I that needed help. Yeah. So focus in on you, right? Focus in on you. Amen. So, all right. Well, listen, those of you on YouTube, like the video, share the video, keep visiting our page, subscribe to our page, help us get up there in subscribers. We need more subscribers. We need more people connected to us. It helps us actually in our ranking on YouTube to get this out there for other people to watch. So please do that. Also, everybody join us, whether on YouTube or on Zoom. Please sow a seed into this ministry. If you've already done so, we thank God for you and thank you for that. But ask the Holy Spirit what it is that you should give, and go to summersministries.com and sow your best seed. We need your help so that we can help other people. Somebody's asking, do we have Western Union? I don't know. Do I have Western Union? I have no clue. I know what Western Union is. I don't necessarily know how it operates. I've never used Western Union in my life. But you, like I said, you can go to summersministries.com to donate. Click the donate now button. Bam, that'll get you there. Okay. So I don't know if somebody wants to say how you do Western Union, because I don't know. Okay. Here's the thing: when dealing with myself, does that mean to not be concerned about other people? Well, what do you mean by? I guess the question would be, what do you mean by concerned about other people? Okay. You know, that's a, I guess, a fine line with that word concerned. Am I concerned about other people? I mean, I think I'm concerned about other people as far as just, I don't like to see people hurt. I mean, when tragedies happen in the world, or I hear about something, yesterday some tragedy happened in our country, and I'm concerned, but I don't really take a lot of time or exhaust a lot of energy into focusing in on that, because again, I understand that, you know, if I don't have an impact in those areas, I mean, why would I take up concern for it? You see, I hope you understand what I'm saying, is that I can't. It's like people that, you know, you see these people on social media, on Facebook and other social medias, when something happens, oh, we need to do this, we need to pray, we need to do that, we need to, well, no, maybe you need to do that, but I don't need to take concern for your cause. Because if it's something on my heart, then you know what? Get in a plane and go down and help people. Go and help. Sow a seed, give money, support the ministry, support that cause, whatever. If that's what you want to do, do it. But so again, are we concerned about other people? I would rather say we should focus in on loving other people. If we love other people, then I believe that's all it takes. Okay, because concerned, it's a slippery slope there. What does that mean? What does that look like? And again, I think with that, and that's a great question, by the way. It can actually play into the whole thing about being controlled by people. Okay. All right. And I don't see anything else. So with that said, we'll let you guys go. Listen, again, thanks for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Visit our website, check out things that we're doing. Also, we'll be down in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you want to come by and say hi, you want to come by and sit in and be part of our discussion, we certainly would love to see you there in Charlotte, North Carolina. That is coming up on Saturday. What is that? August the 10th, I believe. August 10th, and Sunday, August 11th, we'll be down there. Just simply sitting around, having a good old-fashioned discussion about things pertaining to the kingdom of God and life in general. Okay, people need to know how to live life, so we would love to have you there. God bless you. Thank you, those in Europe and all around the country, for joining us, and please join us on Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern again. All right, God bless you guys. We love you. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.